Hello, I'm Jonasz Rawiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight, the Russian army attacked Ukraine with 125 strike UAVs. Ukraine's Air Force reports that the south of the country has become the main focus of the Russian attacks. In the Odessa region, Russia struck an energy facility, leaving settlements in 3 communities without electricity. The private power company D-Tech confirmed the hit. The company said that the damage is significant and that repairs will require a considerable amount of time. The head of the Zaporizhia region also reported a Russian drone strike on the region with 4 people wounded, including a child, in the aftermath. Now, turning to the frontline, Russian quote-unquote war correspondents are likely making false claims that Ukrainian forces have launched a counteroffensive near the border between the Dnipro and Zaporizhia regions. According to the Institute for the Study of War, Russian sources claim that Ukrainian troops are allegedly using fog and Russia's lack of access to Starlink terminals in Ukraine to carry out a supposed counteroffensive north of Hyliaipolye. However, a spokesperson for Ukraine's Southern Defense Forces stated that Ukrainian troops maintain control in this area, while the Russian army unsuccessfully attempted to raise its flag there. The spokesperson denied claims of any Ukrainian counteroffensive, emphasizing instead that the armed forces of Ukraine are conducting search operations to identify Russian sabotage groups. Now, the ISW assesses that Russian forces likely exaggerated the recent advances towards Oleksandrivka and Hyliaipolye and are now attempting to use the appearance of a Ukrainian counteroffensive to justify rolling back their positions to lines that Russian troops had likely held for some time. Meanwhile, in the Donetsk region, the Russian army has again advanced towards Sloviansk. Analysts from the Deep State project reported Russian troop advances near Yampil, on the northern bank of the Siversky Donetsk River. Russian forces managed to entrench themselves in positions that could allow them to move west along the riverbank and potentially begin an encirclement of Liman from the south. Liman can be described as the northern gateway to the Sloviansk-Kramatorsk area. All of this is taking place near the highway connecting Bakhmut and Sloviansk. From these positions, Russian forces remain approximately 17 kilometers from the outskirts of the city of Sloviansk itself. During a recent combat mission, Ukrainian soldiers noticed a Russian FPV drone approaching and immediately opened fire. Now, we don't know whether they scored a hit, but what is certain is that the drone missed its mark. While the explosion occurred close enough to still be a threat, thanks to the quick and coordinated response of the troops, serious consequences were luckily avoided. 4 soldiers were wounded, but their lives are not in danger. This episode once again confirms that on the front line, seconds, attentiveness, and readiness to act without hesitation are all crucial factors.
Хлопці, сюди йде, хлопці!
In Konstantinivka, soldiers of the Ukrainian 24th Separate Mechanized Brigade shot down a Russian Molniya strike drone. The combat operation was recorded on an action cam. In a matter of seconds, the enemy drone, which was hunting for positions around the city, lost control and crashed. No drama, no unnecessary words, just the usual daily grind of air defense on the front line. Konstantinivka remains under constant threat from the air, but each downed drone means lives saved and another enemy plan thwarted.
Відходь. Падає, збив!
Some impressive aim there. After all, this was a rather small target. Now, moving on. In the sky, a Ukrainian F-16 recently put an end to another Russian air attack. A Shahed strike drone heading towards civilian infrastructure was intercepted by a fighter jet and destroyed by a burst from the onboard cannon.
Летить гандон. Крутяк! Хлопці молодці!
Moving on to our next story. Ukrainian fighters from the 2nd Battalion of Unmanned Systems, known as the Black Swarm, have recently delivered a precision strike on Russian engineering infrastructure in the illegally occupied Donetsk region. Now, as a result, a bridge used by Russian troops to transfer equipment and units in the direction of Pokrovsk was destroyed. The structure played a key role in enemy logistics, ensuring the rapid movement of armored vehicles and cargo to the front line. After being destroyed, the crossing was completely disabled, which significantly complicated the supply situation of Russian units in this section of the front. And now, moving on to the next story. The Pentagon has confirmed the interception of the oil tanker Aquila 2 linked to Russia's Shadow Fleet and flying the flag of Panama. Now, the vessel violated the quarantine regime for sanctions ships imposed by Donald Trump's administration. According to official reports, the crew of the Aquila 2 attempted to evade control and change its course. As a result, the tanker was placed under surveillance and escort. The chase stretched from the Caribbean Sea to the Indian Ocean. But the escape attempt was, in the end, unsuccessful. Analysts point out that the Aquila 2 is used in schemes to circumvent international restrictions and was allegedly transporting Venezuelan oil for Russian export channels. It is precisely these ships that form the basis of the illegal logistics that allow Moscow to maintain oil revenues despite the pressure from sanctions. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching and please stay with us here on TVP World.